Thank you for joining us here on the KPRC 2 Plus live stream. We continue to follow that breaking news out of downtown Houston, a shooting that we first told you about moments ago, possibly an officer-involved shooting. This is happening at the Harris County Criminal Court Complex.
In that vicinity, we are learning that this happened outside the Family Law Center. The alleged shooter was injured. We are awaiting more details about this incident. Our coverage of this incident will continue on the KPRC 2 Plus live stream.
And we do have our Gage Golding, who is on the way to that scene. Do we have Gage?
He's been making his way down to that scene. We spoke to him on KPRC 2 News at noon as he was approaching the perimeter that authorities had set up, but basically said they were just gathering details that this had happened outside the Family Law Center and that the suspect apparently, it sounds like the threat was neutralized, but we're still waiting for confirmation. And
one of the things that Gage told us during his report at noon is that he says that he spoke with someone who was inside the courthouse at the time and that person may have heard anywhere from 6 to possibly 8 shots. Certainly, Lisa, as you know, during the lunch hour on a Monday, the Family Law Center tends to get very busy, as does the entire Harris County Criminal Court Complex in downtown Houston.
Right. So obviously they're taking the necessary steps to keep the public safe. But again, okay, we do want to go ahead and take a look at Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez and his social media activity. He was on X just moments ago talking about being en route to the scene, that the suspect was possibly down, confirming that the incident had occurred outside the Family Law Center there in downtown Houston, and that HPD is the lead investigative agency on this.
And I just recently checked HPD's account on X. They have not posted anything about this incident, but certainly they're going to be taking the lead role in this as they work to get a better understanding of what took place outside the Family Law Center there. We do have our Gage Golding, who is on the way to that scene as well. As he was speaking to us just before we ended the noon newscast, he said he was getting very close to that scene. He could see quite a bit of traffic and a bit of activity, which again is not surprising. It's something you expect to see on a Monday afternoon.
And if I recall correctly, in his phoner with us minutes ago, he said that he had spoken to at least one person who was inside that Family Law Center when shots rang out outside that building. And I can only imagine how terrifying that must have been for those individuals not to know what was going on. We don't know what precipitated this gunfire. We're not sure who the suspect is. There's been no identifier at this point, but just waiting more confirmation from HPD and also Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, who's following all of this activity.
And certainly we are being told this is possibly an officer-involved shooting. If that is the case, there are certainly processes and procedures in place to investigate these types of incidents, so we expect that to happen as well. Again, we do have our Gage Golding, who is on the way down there. Kendall, do we have Gage by any chance? Okay, Gage just arrived on scene, so we're going to get a live shot from him here in a couple of minutes. But if you're just joining us here on the KPRC 2 Plus live stream 4 minutes after 1 o'clock on this Monday, we are following a breaking news situation outside the Family Law Center where a shooting took place just before 1 o'clock this afternoon. The suspect, according to Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, is possibly down.
Possibly. So we're still awaiting new details from county as well as HPD. That HPD is the agency that is the lead investigative agency on this. Of course, my mind goes to, were any innocent civilians injured in this? We're still waiting to learn more details. Very, very preliminary information right now as our Gage Golding makes his way to set up camera and give us a live report there from the scene.
And again, this may be an officer-involved shooting. We're waiting for a definitive answer, which will come from HPD, we are told, the lead investigative agency in this case, as they work to figure out what took place down there outside the Family Law Center just before 1 o'clock this afternoon. Our Gage Golding is there, we are told. He is working to get his camera up so that he can broadcast live from that scene to give us a clearer picture of what he's seeing from his vantage point.
And as you would imagine, I think law enforcement will be getting the message out to just avoid the area if you don't need to be downtown. And we're not sure what this impact will have on proceedings scheduled throughout the afternoon, what will be delayed or completely postponed for the day in terms of what's on a docket in any given building.
Right.
There.
And on a Monday afternoon around lunch, you expect
Yes.
a lot of activity taking place, people coming in and out,
Right.
going to their, going to see a judge,
Exactly.
attorneys,
Right.
all different kinds of activity taking place there in terms of the caseload but we don't know, again, as you pointed out, whether the shooting outside the Family Law Center is going to impact any courtroom activity that takes place there this afternoon.
But unsettling news. We've been covering this for the past 20 minutes or so. Possibly an officer-involved shooting right outside the Family Law Center, and Sheriff Gonzalez tweeting out just before the 1 o'clock hour that he believed that suspect may be down. So we're waiting to get final confirmation on that and the injury sustained by that accused shooter, and also if there were any other injuries and what led up to that shooting in the first place. We're waiting much more information. Again, we mentioned Gage Golding. He did join us via telephone just before the 1 o'clock hour and was saying he was making his way to the scene, but we're waiting for him to establish his live signal and get to us there.
Yeah, he is dialing in now, we were told. I just checked Sheriff Gonzalez's X account, no update, still no update on the incident that's taking place there on HPD accounts. Okay, Houston Fire confirming one person taken to Memorial Hermann Hospital. We don't know if this is the suspect, if this was an innocent bystander, or perhaps maybe the officer that was involved. There's just a lot of unknowns, folks, at this point that we are working to figure out here. Once we can get Gage live, he'll be able to give us a better idea, a better understanding of what's taking place there, since he is the reporter on the scene.
And once you arrive at a scene like this, you're also trying to gather so that you can report these questions that you and I have as to what